Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to be painting something a little bit spooky because it is Halloween time at the time of recording. So if you are ready for spooky painting, even if it's not Halloween where you are right now, take this moment. I'm going to take you through a nice 15 to 20 minute painting designed to give you the pause and rest that you need throughout your busy day. So grab your paints. You're only going to need a black, a white and a green today, a couple of brushes and, last but not least, dropped it, a canvas. So do join me as we paint along and give me a like and subscribe if you enjoy the video. The first thing you want to do is take a little bit of black on your damp flat brush. Using this black, we want to go at the top of the canvas and just spread that nice and thin. You can even get the edges if you wish. Once you've applied that black, give your brush a wash and we'll move on to the green. Now with a clean damp brush, we're going to take a nice big scoop of that green. Using this green, I'm just going to place it underneath. And you can see that this green is nice and vibrant. Now the trick is, we want to dull it down, so let's add some of that black once most of that green is off our brush. So I'm just going to use swooping motions to place that green down. I'm going to use that brush with that green paint on and just work that in and up to the black. Once you get to the top, you want to then work that paint down. As I get further down, I'm now going to add more green. As you reach the bottom, I'd like you to dip your brush into some white paint and pop that right at the bottom there. And then work that up into the green. Work it up to about halfway and then work it back down. Repeat that process a couple of times. Now using a clean brush, we're going to blend all the way from the top all the way down right to the bottom. With the toothbrush, we're going to now create stars. We want to put some of the mixture on the bristles of the toothbrush and then aim at the canvas, and using our finger we can flick back and forth. Now you can also do this with a regular paintbrush. Now if you're going to use a regular paintbrush, you're going to dip the mixture into the tip of the paint bristles and then you're going to aim and then just give it a tap and you'll get stars on your canvas. Let's mix the colour for our moon. For our moon, we're going to use white with a little bit of green and mix it together. Once you have that mixture, at the far top right, we're just going to paint ourselves a circle. Now to make this moon come to life, what we're going to do, we're going to just take a little bit more green paint and add that to the white. We're also going to take a tiny dot of black paint and mix that in as well. So we get some nice dark green grey. Using this mixture, we're just going to place a few little craters on the moon just by tapping and wiggling our brush. Now, because the paint's wet underneath, it should blend in beautifully. And there we have it, more definition on that moon. Now we have the moon, we want to paint in some trees and grass. I'm going to use my Filbert brush and a little bit of our black paint. Now if your black paint is really thick and heavy, what you'll want to do is you'll want to add some water. A couple of drops should do it, just to thin that paint out a little bit. Now we're going to create grass at the bottom. Using your Filbert brush, we're just going to tap that at the bottom and flick up like so, all the way across. When you flick up, you just want to release that pressure of the paintbrush. You can use the end of the handle and that will help create less pressure than holding it further up. Great, now we have that, let's pop a couple of trees in. Our trees, I'm going to start one at the left hand side using the tip of the Filbert brush and the black paint. Just going to draw a wiggly line because we want these trees to be a little bit spooky. Straight up. Off that wiggly line, let's create some branches. Again, I'm holding my brush at the very end so I'm not putting on too much pressure. Now using our smaller round brush, we can pop some little branches on. Now what we're going to do is add a tree on the right hand side. Now this tree is just going to lean in ever so slightly. It's not going to be as big as this tree because what we want to make sure is that we can fit the ghost in the centre here. Now it's time to paint the ghost. I'm going to use my Filbert brush and some white paint. I'm just going to dip a damp Filbert brush into that white paint, loading my brush, and we want to just create the shape of the ghost. So we're going to start with a nice arch at the top, and then we're going to bring that down and drag it out ever so slightly at either side. When you get about a quarter of the way up from the bottom, we're then going to do some wiggly lines because this will be the bottom of the ghost. As we know, ghosts fly, so he is floating around. And then we're just going to paint that shape in white. Now, before we put eyes on this ghost, we want to give him a little bit of definition. We don't want him to just be a white, plain, flat ghost. We want to give him some shape. So we're going to take the green that we mixed up for the moon, the craters. That's the green with a little bit of black and white. I'm going to use this brush. And just as every curve dips in, I'm just going to go round that curve like so with my brush. And then I'm going to do a few wiggly lines up at the end of each curve, and also some down on the left hand side, and one maybe on the right. Now, using your brush, you just want to clean it off, and we're going to blend this in. Okay, now it's time to paint the eyes. We're going to use black for the eyes, so I'm just going to take a bit of black on my small brush, and I'm going to paint two little oval wiggly shapes for his eyes, and I'm going to fill them in black. Now, there is our ghost. If you want to add more facial features to this ghost, feel free. You could add a mouth, you could even add hands coming out, anything you like. But there it is, the spooky ghost painting. So here he is, the spooky ghost. I hope you enjoyed painting this with me today. I absolutely loved it. I hope it gave you the time that you need for your mind to switch off. If you enjoyed painting this painting, don't forget to give me a like, give me a subscribe. And also, if you want to make it more of your routine, then you can join my membership where we do this weekly, 4 times a month for a couple of hours. I guide you through a beautiful painting. We've got an exclusive WhatsApp group, Facebook group, we've got everything. So come along and join us. The link is in the comments. For now, bye, and I will see you next week.